Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special live episode of Rollplay Court of Swords. Hello. I'm not alone today. I have these creeps here with me. Thanks,
You
guys.
nerds.
Welcome. I'm Adam Coble. I am the Dungeon Master for this campaign and others, and I will be leading my four friends here through today's adventure. So I am, as always, this is an episode of Court of Swords, joined by my four fellow companions here. Let's start down on this end with some introductions in case you don't yet know who we are. Zeke, would you like to introduce yourself, talk about your character a little bit?
I'd love to. Thank you, Adam. What do I do with my hands? What's up, everybody? My name is Ezekiel III. I am so excited to be here and rolling real dice. I brought two sets of dice to roll just in case one set fails me, and I can throw those in the garbage, and then I can use my other set. But I've been role-playing for a very long time, since I was 14-ish, 15 maybe years old. I'm excited. Like I tweeted out earlier that I'm so unbelievably happy this is part of my job. I'm going to be playing 10 Pillars of Gold. That's my character. He was originally meant to be a sidekick character. We're still using the sidekick rules for the character. But we're going to see today if 10 Pillars makes it all the way to the end of the adventure, or we'll see if someone gets resurrected or perhaps, brought back. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm super excited to get going today and see what comes.
If anybody's placing bets on characters to die today, 10 Pillars is pretty high on the list of likely corpses.
Yeah.
But that's not Zeke's fault, everybody. That's because Zeke's character is both 2 levels lower than everyone else and built to be a sidekick. So don't blame Zeke unless he rolls bad, in which case that is your fault.
Yeah.
You gotta work on your technique. Sitting next to Zeke, longest running character on the show so far.
Hi.
Playing Berg.
It's me.
Thanks.
Hi. Name's Max. Go by GassyMexican. I haven't been playing D&D all my life, but I wish I was. But now we're here, so that's nice. Come back in. Yeah.
Sidekick.
Variety caster, obviously, but who cares about that? We're here to play D&D, and I play a character named Berg, half-orc barbarian, longest-running character on the show. And currently he's kind of dealing with some issues in terms of a recent ghost possession that happened, and also... Yeah, I think that's really where he's at right now. Trying to see what the hell to do while we're waiting for some stuff to happen. Now that we're waiting for the Inquisitors. I don't know.
Everybody has this one main quest, and then Berg is also dealing with the emotional fallout of being a D&D character.
Yeah, he's still there for being Big Bad Berg to deal damage, but also.
So we had a conversation yesterday, Max, in which I said that I was thinking about, but had chosen not to wear my official roleplay ball cap for the episode because it felt too much like wearing your own band's T-shirt. So I just wanted to point out your.
Oh, this shirt.
Max, where can you get that? Actually, I don't know if you can buy that
Is
anymore.
this a shirt that I'm wearing for Court of Swords? I really like the shirt, though. I wear it normally.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, with some little Malcolm hair and such.
I'm repping.
Look at that. There you
I'm
go.
repping my love here. I got the ampersand TSR.
This is getting weird.
I was going to say, depending on where the hands start to move.
Well, as much as I was enjoying watching you grow up yourself, JP, would you like to?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to grope myself.
Would you like to grope
Would you like to grow, Max? Yeah.
I think I'm good on the groping myself.
I just really like the shirt, yeah.
Hi, my name is JP McDaniel. We've been doing roleplay now for, I think, about 7 years. This is the 132nd episode of Court of Swords, something like that. Everyone's got to do the lean in. It's the quintessential thing now. So yeah, we're playing D&D all day today. I'm super excited to have everyone here in St. Louis at our house at Studio Roleplay. In terms of who I'm playing Maharib, who I guess he's been here for a while now in terms of character length, but it's going to be interesting. I think Maharib is a little bit conflicted with where he's at with the party, particularly with this guy right here. So there might be some conversations that occur today, which will be a lot of fun. But I'm super excited to have those, and super excited to roll real dice like everyone else here. So
Yeah.
Cool. And
should be fun.
Last but not least, down at the end, DansGaming.
Yes, I'm DansGaming, variety streamer on Twitch. Been playing Ramos for a few years now. He's a cleric that has gone through a lot of changes over the course of 3 years, and his current quest is to knock over heaven and establish a new order.
Yeah, not ambitious at all.
Not that big. Not that big
so-
of a deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
You know,
it's
just
fine.
a Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's my current goal, and we'll see if I can do that. I need a certain character to come back to life to help me do that.
Yeah, so we'll be addressing kind of all of that stuff during the episode. If you're watching for the first time and you're like 132 episodes, that's a lot. You can go to community.itmeJP.com. If you look in the Court of Swords forum, our kind of unofficial Court of Swords historian Twilight Borealis has a couple of posts that will quickly recap for you the first 130 episodes.
Very useful.
Yeah, incredibly useful. So check that out if you haven't already. But if you're already caught up and you're ready for the action to begin, welcome. Let's do the thing. For folks who are watching on Twitch, if you're watching this live, we have a roleplay extension that you can use to look at folks' character sheets. So that should be available on whatever stream you're watching on. So you can check that out if you're curious about that. Try not to feel too badly for the players who maybe haven't filled their character sheet out all the way.
After 4 years.
Why do you have 2 suits of half plate, Max?
I have 2 suits of half plate.
I was looking at your character sheet during my prep, and I was like, "What kind of armor does Burke? What? Why do you?"
You know what probably happened is you told me to add something to there, and it did it twice, and I was like, I got to focus on what he's saying.
I just like imagining that Burke is so scared of dying that he has 2 suits of armor on, one on top of
My
the
character
other.
sheet's a little bit of a mess, but
Yeah.
it's all the stuff that's really important is usually okay.
Yes,
Like the actual like AC and all that stuff. And
Yeah, so we normally play using Roll20, which we'll be integrating today through our table map. We've got some cool stuff to show you there. But all of the players, instead of using the macros and stuff built into their character sheet, we're going to be rolling actual physical dice today and also having to do actual brain math. So that's fine. We practiced. We did a little dress rehearsal. These characters are all kind of level like 13 to 15 now, and so they're much more complicated, I think, even than the last time we played. Dan, you got some bonkers high-level spells in the last almost year or so.
Some spells I'm gonna need like everyone's dice to roll them.
Yeah, exactly. Like I need 16 d6. Everybody just pile on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one, I think, major difference between the live show, obviously, besides the fact that we're all here together in the same room. So we will deal with that as it comes. So for today's episode, let's start by reviewing all the characters' goals. We'll just go over the goals to make sure we know what all the characters want. And then, was that the face of a man who doesn't have 3 goals?
No, it's a face of a man who has all of his goals on a separate text file.
Perfect.
Oh.
Good. Yes.
That's not on his character sheet
So
because it started out being secret.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way we do experience in Court of Swords is instead of awarding XP for monsters defeated or treasure regained or milestones or any of that stuff, each character has 3 goals, and as they work towards and resolve those goals, they will get experience points. So we're really more focused on what do the players' characters want for themselves and for the party, and to reward them for achieving or at least trying to achieve those things.
Yeah.
So let's start with Ramos, and we'll go around.
That means I'm second.
What are your goals right now? And we're doing essentially 2 episodes. So we're gonna stop in the middle and hand out some experience before our mid break, and then we'll do like a second kind of episode. Mm-hmm. So work on a goal make sure you have a goal you can try to accomplish in like the first 4 hours if you want to get that sweet XP. So yeah, what are your goals, Ramos?
Secure land for the Temple of Harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Bring back Unnamed.
Okay.
And turn 10 pillars into an ally of our church.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And that last goal you're working on with Zeke's character, and the idea is that you'll turn him because he's an influential member of the Court of Coins, and he'd be good to have.
Very powerful.
Yeah, and it'll help you with that first goal too if you have 10 pillars as an ally, if you can convert him.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Okay. So Maharib.
So we have the 2 old goals. We have explore the power of the Wicked Edge and find peace with what happened to Amira. And then a third new one, which I guess needs to be accomplished in the first 4 hours.
I mean, yeah, if you want to get the extra bonus XP, like if you want to be able to get 2 goals
Who
in one
needs
day.
XP?
Do we know that? Can I make a goal that? Because we're being invaded, right? There's a fight that might be happening. Is that a goal I can make?
I mean, I don't think like Maharib doesn't know. I wouldn't say that the arrival of the agent of Special Projects Division is going to immediately be like a fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just know that they are going to show up. So where I guess as a frame of reference for the kind of the characters at large, you all have this shared goal of executing the ritual of ignition, right? Bringing life to the unliving body of unnamed.
Emix to ignition.
Yeah, that's right. And so we want, that's the thing, the whole thing that you all want, and that's broken down into several sub goals where you need a shit ton of money. You need 20,000 gold in materials. You need a vessel to contain the draconic soul of Bahath, which you're going to use to ignite unnamed. So you need a vessel to carry the soul. And then you need a ritual object or thing, a metaphor for the battleground where unnamed and Bahath will contest. And then optionally a sacrifice or gift for the Fire Lord Imix in exchange for Bahath, right? The blasphemy that is binding the dragon's soul to an object. So Maharib knows all that, but I don't think you know, like you...
I have no idea what's happening with them.
Ramos and 10 Pillars are the ones that have been like communicating with the Bureau.
Yeah, I was outside.
Yeah, so I don't think Maharib knows about that. But if you as a player want to write a broader goal, like protect the embers from outside influence,
I think I can just do something like make sure that unnamed is brought back and kind of just piggyback on that goal.
Yeah, and that's reasonable. Okay,
Yeah.
so you want it because that's one you don't have yet. Okay,
Yeah,
so ensure unnamed is brought back.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Cool. Okay. All right. Berg.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want your goals to be today?
First one's help bring back unnamed. Second would be find a way to resist future possession. And third would be find out more about Superpower Belt.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, because you have two of these important objects that belong to the Saint Emperor Faye.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have his hammer and you have his belt, and you're very familiar with the hammer.
With the hammer,
but the belt
yeah.
is new. And so learning more about that may lead you to the third piece of his regalia.
That's kind of what I'm hoping, like getting further acquainted
and
with
we
how
know,
they work.
We know only like a little bit about Emperor Faye. Like obviously 10 Pillars has this historical background. Is history one of your skills?
Yes, it
where
is.
Defaults? Okay. So he has a pretty good understanding of Emperor Faye and would be a great person
There might
to
be,
go to
that might
for
be where he starts, yeah.
Yeah, because if
Talking
you're
about
looking for like the God bless them. The Embers of Imix, they're hardworking folk, but it's not like they have like a library
Yeah.
or anything.
And if they did, I
Like,
can't imagine it being super extensive.
Yeah.
Certainly
Bert-
not one from...
Bert
you
can't
know.
read, so
He can read.
How many languages does Berg speak?
He actually
like six?
is fairly
well,
learned
speaking
in
and
terms
reading
of...
is different.
That's true.
You know, but
That's very smart of you to observe.
Common, Orcish, Dwarvish, and I believe
'cause I'm
Celestial.
smart.
Celestial's in there, I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure, too.
Yeah, so Berg knows a lot of languages,
Yeah.
but
Goblin
maybe
as well.
couldn't write an essay in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to
Five
ask,
different
does anybody
languages.
else in the party speak Dwarvish? This is just a thing.
I
that
speak Dwarvish.
You do too. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so your goals: learn more about the belt,
10 pillars as well. Yeah.
find a way to resist future possession, bring back unnamed.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then Zeke, what are 10 Pillars goals for today?
I don't know. Do you have them?
I do, yes. I have 3 here. Do you want me to read them and then you can decide
Yes.
if you want to keep them? Okay, all right. So earn the trust of the Embers of Imix.
Okay.
Return to Grave Dirt with the newly sold unnamed.
Right.
And free the orcs of the Court of Swords so as to enlist them in our struggle.
Oh, those are old goals.
Yes, that's what I have from
Okay.
before.
The third goal. Take off the third goal.
The
and
orc
just
one?
Yep. And just
Yeah,
put
take off the orc goal.
get.
Okay.
That's a long-term one. It'll
No, I get it.
it'll
Do you
make
guys
recurring
need a bit? We
stuff.
can leave and go to another room.
I thought we agreed that was going to be your goal.
Don't embarrass me in front of the other players. All right.
No, I make sure or see the ritual through. Like, yeah.
Okay.
And I want to make sure that you know, Adam, I want to see the ritual through whether it fails or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
I
make
get-
sure it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because I want the XP either way. Because I'm
Oh,
really
okay.
close to the next level.
Well, and that's the thing is, so this is important for folks who might not be like fully familiar with the goal system. The way that we phrase them matters because at the
Yeah.
end of a session we check, did you work towards it and did you accomplish it? And if you write a goal that's like, if I say punch Zeke in the mouth and I punch Zeke in the butt, I'm not going to get XP
Right.
because
Right.
I said I was going to punch you in the mouth.
So I get
so
gun
instead I'll
shy.
just say punch Zeke. But the less specific the goal, the less experience you'll get for
yeah,
it, right?
right.
Like a goal that is bring unnamed back and return her to grave dirt.
Right.
That's worth a lot more because it's more specific than
Yeah.
just make sure the ritual doesn't fail.
That's why I'm not
Exactly.
very specific when I write goals
Which is
anymore.
totally fair. There's different strategies to it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, walk that.
Just live through one more goddamn day.
What was the first goal?
Okay, so I have see the ritual through, succeed or fail, return to grave dirt with unnamed,
'Kay.
and then earn the trust of the embers of Imix.
Okay, take that one off
Okay, all right.
and put on. Make sure that, or I don't want the people who are coming, like the
Right, the
secret group,
agents.
the agents, yes, to harm my companions. So like, keep them safe from
Okay, so
their
like
persecution or whatever.
Keep my companions. So just these three, or do you mean like the embers?
Just these three.
Okay, so keep my companions free of.
Why'd you say that though?
I don't know, no reason.
Just these three or the
Bureau,
embers too, because they're going to be in trouble too.
Keep my companions free of division meddling, like or interference or harm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one? Like safe from harm, free from meddling, like because that's what Special Projects Division does. He's coming here to meddle.
Yeah, do you care more
Right.
about like keeping us
I don't want
Safe.
you guys like hindered. How about that? Hindered from their mission.
Okay.
I think that's what they're
that
going
could
to
be
do.
imprisoning too.
Yes, they could. Well,
Yeah.
this is the thing: is that technically Special Projects Division doesn't have what we would call jurisdiction here, but also you and Special Projects both operate kind of extrajudicially.
Right, yeah.
So there isn't going to be like a Court of Swords lawyer to be like,
They're-
Court
yeah.
of Coins, Special Projects Division, get out of here.
They might come here to disavow me.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Methinks you'll have to choose.
So, cool. All right, everybody got goals. We are squared away.
That's it.
So
We're done.
that's
Pack
it.
it up.
Yeah, thanks
See
for
you
coming.
next time. Thanks for watching. Yeah.
So I think so. This episode we pick up pretty much where we left off last time. I think we fade in from the intro to Vani, our fire genasi shaman, walking the halls of the embers of Imix Fortress with Berg. So we get this slow fade in, and the two of them are. And I guess I'll ask you this: like you've been hanging out with Vani for like a couple of hours, like you've been walking around and just talking and like whatever. What is the emotional like mood as we fade in? Are you like standing close together? Like, did you like let her take your arm as you're walking around? Like, or are you keeping a bit of distance from her?
Probably, close together. If she is decided to take Berg's arm, he's not going to like shrug her away or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that she seems genuinely interested in helping him kind of overcome
Yeah,
the whole possession thing. And
her vibe towards Berg is a bit like a teacher and a student, but much less hierarchical than you would expect. Like you were a student in the dojos of heaven for a time, and that's very like I am the master and you are the learner.
Right.
But Vani approaches it very differently, where she wants to get to know you so she can help you get over this possession issue that you're dealing with.
So he wouldn't be resisting any of that.
Okay. All right. So just as a quick, like for folks who might not be, caught up on the show, or for a good reminder for all of us, Vani is, she has like dark skin. Where it's lighter, it has kind of a rusty, like reddish tinge. She's a fire genasi, so her hair is like a dark kind of like orange brown. It's very long and curly, and she's got it kind of like put up in a bun to keep it out of the way. She's wearing just like sort of saffron colored robes, very minimal to like jewelry. I think she maybe has like a bracelet of like obsidian beads that she wears and like fiddles with when she talks. And she goes around barefoot. It's like you're in a cavern, but it's a volcanic cavern.
Right.
And so like some rooms are quite warm, some are cold. Like they haven't quite figured out the ancient dwarven thermostat yet.
Right.
But she runs hot, right? She's a fire genasi, and so when other people might be like shivering, she's still walking around barefoot.
Yeah.
So that's what Vani looks like. She is relatively like cheerful, kind of like easy to laugh. And probably as we fade in, she's laughing at something that she said or some story that she was telling you. What does Berg look like? What's Berg dressed
This
like
is
right now?
always
How's
such
he
a.
look?
I mean, I understand what Berg looks like for a bit, but he's been through so much. So I think.
Yeah, right.
I think it's probably because he did have like heavenly sort of, or is it still the tower? I think he had tower emblem stuff on his armor. I don't think he ever like
When you
got
were in
adorned
the
with.
when you were in the void, somebody got replacement armor. Was it?
That was him.
It was me.
Berg?
Oh no. So
Yeah.
it's all voided out, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, this is the question, right? Is like Vani doesn't go around wearing armor. She doesn't have any weapons on her. Does Berg just casually like wear his armor all the time, or are you just wearing like clothes?
No, I think he has his armor on all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for Berg, that's how he's always been played. You know, he's always
Yeah.
battle ready. He doesn't. Through experience, he has been caught before, you know, without his armor, and he did not like that. So he'll rather just bear the uncomfortable nature of wearing his armor all the time.
Yeah, and it's almost like it's interesting because you're wearing the uniform of like another army. Like you're a zealot barbarian, you're powered by heaven.
Yeah.
And you are wearing armor that was forged in hell, essentially.
Yeah, for you know anyone else's purposes, for description of Berg, he's a half-orc barbarian, obviously. So, but he has two tusks. That one used to be broken off. So, if anyone is coming in and now trying to get updated to Berg, he's kind of been heavenized, a little upgraded. He's an ideal version of what like the perfect orc or half-orc might look like. So his skin is a lot less, distressed and stuff, and it's more smooth. Long white hair. I can't remember if we have it in a man bun. I think right now he might have it in a bun.
Yeah.
He probably switches between it. But yeah, other than that, before it used to be much more easier to describe details of Berg because he was all like scarred up and stuff. Had a big scar across his X, which was indicative of him being a slave. That's gone.
Heaven rebuilding you robbed you of all of your scars, right? Like you're in this body that is heaven's idea of Berg.
Yeah.
But there's probably still time where you like look in the mirror and you're like, that's weird. This is not my face. You're a little too symmetrical.
Yeah. So for anybody too who has the idea of like roughed up Berg. Not so much. A little more of a heavenly glow about him, but his armor and stuff, and
you probably got some new new scars.
Yeah,
from
for sure. Yeah, but they're
recent-
more fresh. Is what I'm saying. They're not.
Okay.
It's not as like old grizzled, Berg from yesterday's.
Okay, so Berg, I'll get you to tell me kind of how you react because you're quick on the draw and quick to rage. But the two of you are walking through the hall. It's quiet. It's this massive sort of square edge geometric like hallway. You're in the second level, so you've moved down from the first. And down here, I think it's nighttime now, so most people are asleep. And so you and Vanya are just kind of walking and talking quietly. And there is it's not even a sound at first. There is the feeling of like you feel your ears pop. And Vanya turns to look at you like that. She gives you a face like, did you notice that? Like, did you? And before you get a chance to say anything to her, there is a sort of vacuum like feeling in the hall ahead of you, and then a pop. And all of a sudden you see somebody standing there. They weren't there before, and now all of a sudden they are. They are dressed like there's no question this person is an arcane spellcaster of some kind, right? Like they have long robes. They're blue, like dark blue robes. They're quite fancy, probably with like silver thread. They are wearing rings on both hands of various like size. They probably normally have very long, straight, like black hair, but it's tucked up under like kind of a cap that they're wearing. I don't know that Berg has ever seen someone from the Court of Coins before. But I think the closest analogy is they're dressed kind of fancy, like you imagine 10 Pillars might dress sometimes. And this person just pops into existence right in front of you, and there's still kind of motes of like fountain energy sort of drifting around them, and they are like briefly disoriented, like they look around and they're kind of like getting their bearings. What do you do when this person just appears out of nowhere?
I think instinct would be to like grab the hammer and like raise it just slightly. Not that he's just like full ready for combat, but just like a beat while this character just pops into existence. And then look at Vani like with a concerned look, maybe kind of like push her back just a little bit, like arm outstretched as he's assessing, whether or not this is going to be a threat.
She's kind of got that like Scarlet Witch thing going on where she's not casting a spell, but you can see her like raising her hands. There's
Getting
like
ready,
energy,
yeah.
and you feel that sort of mirage wave of heat like start coming off of her. But she's looking to you to be like, are we going to attack this person? What happens? But you're going to give them a second.
It's less the look that he gives her too is like not just concerned, but like not attacking yet. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like that's what's conveyed.
Okay.
So and if they don't say anything first as they're getting their bearings,
Yeah.
Berg will address them and be like, "Who are you?"
So this person, they blink a couple of times, they look around, and then they see you, and they see Vani, and they bow to you. And
The grip on the hammer would lessen then a little bit, like slightly.
And they say, Berg, I presume.
Yes.
Even more magnificent in person. It's my pleasure to meet you. And they kind of like move towards you gracefully, like they approach, and you can hear the like whisper of their robe on the floor as they come towards you.
And he said their dress is somewhat similar to 10 Pillars.
Have you ever been in your like you have finery, right? 10 Pillars. You ever worn it around these guys?
Yep.
I don't. Yeah.
I did it for my meeting with.
That's right. Yeah.
Grave Dirt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Similar. I don't know how. Make an insight check, Berg.
Yeah,
let's
I was
let's
saying
just
we
see.
might-
Like you want to get a
yeah.
read on this guy.
Roll.
Yeah, I know it's a
Yes.
roll. I'm just. Is it
Oh, you
just
need a character sheet to see your
I
bonus.
need to see my bonus. Yeah,
Sure.
which is right here. Insight. Give me a moment.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's a -2.
Nice. Strong.
First roll of the day.
Yeah, with a -2.
Okay, I'm making sure. Had to make sure it was the right one. All right, here we go.
Hey,
Not bad.
16.
Okay. All right. So, what do you want to know about this person? They're being very not obsequious, but they're being polite, right? They bowed to you. They recognize you. They seem to know who you are, but that's not like unusual.
Yeah, if they're, I mean, I guess hostile. That would be. He doesn't get that sense. He wants to. I mean, in his mind, based on he would draw, the conclusion that it would be from Court of Coins if they're wearing similar garb, kind of thing. So I
Yeah.
guess I don't know.
So they don't appear to be hostile. They're not here. They don't seem to be here to like
Yeah, I think-
outwardly like cause trouble. But there is a sense you get of
What kind of intent they have?
you
Basically,
get a sense that this person is very, very self-assured, where they're like, nothing wrong could possibly happen to me. Like
Gotcha. Okay.
there is this like slight degree of sort of superiority.
that's a good read to get, yeah.
Normally, people give you space and keep their distance, right? Because you're a
Right.
dangerous-looking person. But this person doesn't seem like scared at all of
Right.
you.
Okay.
And so yeah, they take a couple of steps to get closer to you. Still kind of like looking you over.
Yeah, and then Berg would probably like seat the hammer back where
Yeah.
it goes and just stare at them as they come closer.
Yeah, and they say,
Now Berg knew that they were coming, right?
I knew they were coming, yeah, but
Okay.
but that's what I'm saying. Like his initial reaction is just instinctual, like, "Who the fuck are you?" Of
course,
okay.
of course.
They just
Yeah.
appear out of
And so
nowhere.
that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing Berg, his
Okay.
muscles relax. He puts his hammer back, and then I think he'll even be like, "Oh, one of you."
yeah. So they come a little closer and they're like, what do you mean, one of me?
We knew you were coming. 10 Pillars. Here to see what's all happening.
Yes, the magistrate. That is why I came. But you are the reason I was able to visit. So for that, I thank you.
You're welcome.
You can call me Mr. Yang. And they look at Vani, and Vani's kind of doing the like you when you like stepped in front of her, she's basically behind you doing that like, let me at him. Like,
Yeah.
her energy is like, who is this asshole? Like, get him out of here. But she doesn't seem scared. She just is like let me at him. Like, I don't trust this guy. And he looks at her and just kind of like raises an eyebrow, like, I'm not going to introduce myself to you.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah. As that happens, Berg feels her energy like still tense, behind, and then he like looks behind and notices.
This is Vani. Vani, Mr. Yang.
Mr. Yang looks at Vani and gives her just the slightest like up nod, and it's like, a shaman, how quaint. Do you know where 10 Pillars of Gold is now?
Somewhere here, I'd expect.
I would so love to speak to him. Could you, like gestures, like help me find him?
Fine.
Berg's, as I'm saying the line, like he's saying it exactly that way, like
Yeah.
flat, like great, here he is, they're here, awesome. He's like,
Follow me.
Vani stops you. She puts a hand on your wrist and gives you this look like, let's go. I need to talk to you for a second. Come over here.
all right, then Berg will be like,
Excuse me, one moment.
Mr. Yang bows like, of course, take all the time you need. And so Vani takes you like a few steps away and looks back and says quietly, who the hell is that?
We were expecting them from the Court of Coins.
Why? What are they doing here?
I imagine they're interested what we're up to. 10 Pillars sent a message. Not to come here, but to tell them status. So, apparently they were interested. We did not invite them.
Did 10 Pillars tell them about the ritual?
I don't know detail.
We do need to find 10 Pillars, and quickly. And she looks back suspiciously at Mr. Yang, who is like doing that thing where it's like, I'm polite, I'm not eavesdropping, I can hear you, but I'm trying not to listen.
Yeah,
So he's just like examining his manicure and like,
dusty in here.
what a interesting architecture. Yeah, so doing that politeness at a distance thing.
Yeah.
So so when you turn back, Mr. Yang gives you a look like, are you good? Can we go? And then I guess the three of you
we
head off
move
to find
forward.
10 Pillars. Okay. 10 Pillars, where are you when Berg and Vani and Mr. Yang show up?
Well, before we get into that, I just want to say, like, how cool it is to hear Berg's voice and like in person and definitive proof that it's not like, a sound like you're not tweaking anything or whatever. But 10 Pillars, I want to know how much time it's been between when they said we're coming and now.
A couple of hours.
Okay, so not like a day or two or nothing.
No,
okay,
a few hours. Yeah, long enough for Berg to go back to his room.
Okay.
For Vani to come, for the two of them to like work on the meditation thing, and then to walk around. So let's round it up to 3. Let's say 3 hours.
I'd probably like be chatting with Ramos about what's to come, what we want out of this. Like,
Okay.
probably maybe even get into a philosophical debate about what he wants to do with his or what his future plans are, whether it be like, I don't know if he reveals like that he wants to topple heaven, start a religion or whatever, but I'm sure it's fairly surface, but we've known each other for a little bit at least, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ramos, have you? I mean, you're working on trying to convert 10 Pillars. So I want to give you an opportunity to have sort of like done that as part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm not going to tell you like what your character believes or thinks or whatever. Let the dice do that. But if you're kind of tracking how persuasive Ramos has been, like for you, what do you think? Should we let Dan make a persuasion roll and
Absolutely.
see how the conversation went?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So why don't you do that, Dan?
Okay.
Make a persuasion roll. And we'll see. We come in at the end of the conversation, and it's either like 10 Pillars being like, "Yeah, you're wrong about that," or it'd be like, good point. Like,
All right.
ooh, baby.
Is that a 19?
Good omens.
It's 23.
Nice.
18
Damn,
and a
dude.
19 to start us out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like you made one like really solid point,
I
and
think
it's stuck in his
I think I'm
head.
talking to you about what it would take to establish an emperor over the Court of Coins, a new one.
You peeled the right banana there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm heavily
yeah.
inferring Maharib or Berg during the conversation.
Okay.
Emperor
Yeah.
Berg.
Okay.
Ugh,
Not interested.
not interested. Yeah.
No, I mean if you're inferring like an emperor at all, and that because we learned from the insight or the whatever spell
Yeah, from Vani's
that Vani
Pierce the
cast,
Veil
yeah.
thing, yeah.
That we found what his burning desire was, and it's he wants to see the Court of Coins, not necessarily the Court of Coins itself, but like their rule and order across all the lands. He wants everyone, because he sees how the machine works in the city, and he would like to see that work throughout the land and stuff like that. So when you mention that, like one ruler to rule everyone and get everyone like in line, so everyone has food, and like that's in his mind. Like this is the good of all.
Do you let Ramos know that that's like a political movement that is like gaining steam? That the sort of imperialist faction in the Court of Coins is kind of like growing.
Yeah, I'll let him know. Like I've heard this, like heard rumblings of this, like throughout the lands, and people are. Rumors of one type or another are being spread. And
yeah, so there is a beneficial fruit that is growing in the orchards of the Court of Coins, and it may come a time for you to reach up and pluck that fruit from the tree. So yeah, then the two of you are
and when
having
you
this-
say like when you talk about placing one of them as like emperor or whatever, I would definitely steer it towards more human, because humans are like the prevalent, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
God, it's such an awkward conversation too, because like you're like, yeah, like Maharib or Berg, and the response is like, do you know any like humans that we could use for that? Because yeah, people would have a real hard time, especially with, and it's funny because Maharib is like an alien to most people.
Yeah.
Like everybody has seen an orc before, but like a Goliath is.
Right.
They're very rare, so that would be like especially difficult to.
Yeah.
Well, even one too, like a Goliath like him now that has been to the void and back,
yeah.
even more foreign.
Yeah, I'm a little blue.
A little bit, yeah.
And I'd probably appeal to some of your vanity, being like, I don't know if those would be good choices, but maybe someone more like you.
Well, I am very wise.
Yeah. And there's a whole historical context for that, but we can kind of get into it as we explore like the belt and the regalia. But okay, so the two of you, where are you having this conversation? Is it just like in one of the rooms that you've been given, or is it like out in a public space? Remember, it's nighttime, so most of the embers are asleep. Not a lot of people up.
Probably like a side room where he's smoking his pipe and I'm just sitting there chilling, writing stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So Berg, when you find the two of them, I think the walk is like tense and kind of quiet. Every once in a while, Mr. Yang will notice something and be like, interesting, or like like doing that kind of like looking around, absorbing the details of the place. But for the most part, there's no like conversation as you head there.
Berg wouldn't be talking to Mr. Yang. There's no small talk.
Okay, so the three of you are kind of tense when you arrive. And then, you find these two in this room, and maybe you notice it from the smell of 10 Pillars, like pipe smoke. You're like, oh, he's in here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you arrive kind of at the entrance to this room. Do you just like walk in, or are you like, hang on, let me go talk to them first? Or
Yeah, I think Berg leads the way, and he doesn't guide them and Mr. Yang at all. Very intentionally, just to be like, that thing where sometimes you don't say something to your friend to follow, so you're kind of just messing with him.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know whether or not to come in or not, but he just comes in, and then Berg looks straight at 10 Pillars and Ramos.
They're here.
Yeah, and so you hear Berg, and you look up, and you see Vani, who you've seen a bunch of times before, and you see this blue-robed, clearly like regally dressed in finery sorcerer or wizard. You've never met this person in person before, but you recognize the outfit, right? It's not a uniform, but it is definitely, you haven't seen clothes this nice that have not been on your body in a long time.
Right. I don't know what the pleasantries or the proper greeting is, but I would stand up and give them that if it's a bow or if it's whatever.
Yeah, so one thing you would know without being introduced, this person, their real name is not Mr. Yang. Mr. Yang is like a stand-in. They're all Mr. Yangs.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so you would know that their real identity is being obscured
Right.
on purpose, but you would know to address them. And so I think that everybody watches 10 Pillars and this person exchange like greetings and bow. And Mr. Yang apologizes. They say, I am sorry, 10 Pillars, to come here and step on your toes. I know that you are in the middle of a very delicate operation, but the division decided that it would be prudent to have someone to advise you, considering that the matters of your mission have become somewhat more arcane than they were. I'm here to help.
Well, thank you on behalf of me and my companions that you made it all this way. It's just you then.
Of course.
All right.
And they turn, now that they've done their kind of introduction with you, and they turn to you, and they say, you must be Ramos Krill.
I'm at a disadvantage, sir. Who are you?
Call me Mr. Yang. I'm here to help.
I want to make an insight check on that.
Yeah, do
He says that too. I think Berg like rolls his eyes like, God damn it.
You're rolling at what? +5, +4?
Insight is +10 for me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He's very wise.
Yeah.
Very wise.
So insightful.
Oh,
Okay.
Critted that shit.
That's yes, the best you could possibly do.
30.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, this person is not. They're here to help, but maybe they're not here to help you. They're here to help themselves. Certainly, they have the general kind of vibe of like a weasel slinking around the like a duck's nest looking for eggs, right? Where they're just like they've smelled food and now they're kind of like looking around like how can I get out of this in the best way for me? But they're very like dry and very kind of like polite in a way that if you were to get angry at them, they would be like, I don't understand what your problem is. Why are you being like this? Like, you're being so unreasonable. So, yeah, they're here to meddle and nose around and figure out what is happening, and they're here because of the ritual list that you sent. So, yeah. And so all anyone else sees is just Ramos eyeball this person, and they smile. Like,
If you're here to help, did you bring what I requested?
that's a lot of gold, 10 pillars. And you know the coffers are somewhat tight these days, what with all the war and what have you. We've been
Right.
sending a great deal of aid to Magrai to assist them in holding back the tide.
How is that going, by the way?
Well, you know, it goes.
Well, you didn't necessarily need to bring the gold or the gold equivalent. Did you bring any of the actual raw materials?
I have authority to approve the expenses, but I'm going to need to take a look at the ritual's procedures first. And when they say that, Vani, I think in Primordial or in Ignan, it doesn't matter what language is, you hear her say, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
It just is in a different language that sounds like a fire burning.
I
And
was going to say something before that to her, but
she addresses like basically the whole room. She's just like, "Wait a second, what the hell?" Like, and I don't know that she knows a language that she knows. Like, she can't think off the top of her head of a language that she can say that she won't get heard by this guy.
Right.
But I think because Berg, you're the closest she looks at you, and
Oh,
and she,
no, don't do
and
that
she,
to Berg.
And she's like, "What? I need to understand what's going on here. Why is this person here? This foreigner?"
is she speaking in common?
She's just like, speaking in
Yeah.
common to
Okay,
the
okay.
room, kind of
Okay.
like, "Wait a minute, hold on."
Bonnie, if I may. The things we need for this, the list that you provided us with. Surely you know that whatever is on there requires resources that none of us have. I took it upon myself to ask for those resources, and yes, I did it without consulting you first, and for that, I apologize. But they're here now. We have the means, and this is the price to complete the ritual.
Make a charisma saving throw.
Did you say we have
Okay.
the meats?
Means. We have the means.
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot to tell you.
the
We have
Sponsored
the
by
meats.
Arby's. Roll it, Scott. Let's get the Arby's plug going.
I forgot to tell you. 99% of the items on the list were various kinds of charcuterie.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I have brought the sacred
Horsey.
bologna. All right.
Horsey sauce.
Here we go.
Interesting.
Charisma save +2,
Yeah.
14.
14. Okay. So Vani doesn't immediately discount you as a human being, right? She's not like,
Right.
you're an outsider, get out of here, I hate you.
Right.
But you see, like, she has this like seething like gaze. She aims at you. You could fry an egg on her face if you needed to. She
Why
just
do you think I
scowls.
changed my goal, dude?
Yeah, she scowls at you and like grits her teeth, and she says, I didn't think that it would be necessary to tell you this, but the ritual of ignition is sacred. It can't just be shared with anyone. The list of material that I gave you, she like looks at Mr. Yang and looks back at you and is just like, and she just snarls and like leaves the room. She's like, "Ugh," and like walks out, just fed up with all of you. Unless somebody follows her, she walks out.
I let her leave.
Yeah.
Berg would follow, but he doesn't know what to say. So
Yeah.
he probably. I think you see Berg like go like, and then he's like, "What would I?
What
say?
would I do if I caught up to her? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, we knew, or I knew that was going to happen, and I'm glad that she didn't decide to use force immediately. But you're here now. You said you were authorized.
I have the appropriate documentation and the authority to approve that documentation to get the materials that you need, but
You need to see some. Yeah.
I need to understand the ritual, its purpose. We were able to discern some from what you sent us, but I need more information.
Well, I point to, because the corpse is in this room. If we're in Ramos's room.
I think you're in a side room.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dan was saying that you found some other, because there's lots of unoccupied
Right.
rooms like stone furniture and stuff.
Unless anyone here has an objection, I'll show Mr. Yang to the body in question.
If this will help bring her back, then I will allow it.
Right this way.
And before Mr. Yang goes with you, they say to Ramos, you're like, I'll allow it. They give you another bow, and they say, much appreciated. Very human of you. And then to you, like, please.
Oh, man. Very human of you. Oh, God. So, yeah, I lead her,
Okay.
or lead him to the...
Right as you lead, as Mr. Yang starts to proceed out, Berg stops Mr. Yang and like right in the chest, and says,
If you are to be here, you will be respectful to Vani and the others. Otherwise, we will have a problem.
I think that you will find, Master Berg, that I am nothing if not polite, especially to those below me.
Berg like cocks him like it's a warning.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't say anything, just like watch your ass.
Do you want to make an intimidate check?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, they're not going to show it, but I'm curious to see if it sinks in.
I will give him advantage because I'm going to look and say, your uncalloused hands show me that maybe you don't deal with many people outside of the court, and I would advise caution, especially with these ones.
Cool. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm rolling advantage so twice.
Yeah, take two. Actually, physically take. Unless you don't want anyone else touching your dice.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
You could give your
Take
help.
one of
Yeah, there
mine,
you go.
baby. That's
So
the
this way we can see.
advantage.
This way we can see if it helps.
Yeah.
Ah. It helped?
Well,
It
15.
did help.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
intimidate is what?
intimidation is +3, so.
Okay, so
18.
18.
He's pretty good.
That's not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
All right. So Mr. Yang doesn't show any sign of like they're not like and run out of the room.
Of course, naturally, right? Yeah, I wouldn't expect. Imagine if he did though.
Just like then runs out and falls off a cliff.
Well, shit.
There goes my authorization.
Well, Berg is doing this just in light of how he
Yeah.
treated her in the hallway, and then obviously she's pissed the fuck off. So
yeah, so they hear the threat. They acknowledge. Like you can see it. It works. There's maybe a slight twinge before the smile returns, and they again bow deeply. Like yes, of course, I understand. I'm a guest in this place.
Berg removes his hand and
Yeah,
lets them pass.
and then once you're out of the way, then the two of you can go. Now, Berg and Ramos, do you go with 10 Pillars to the corpse, or do you stay behind to talk?
I think I go to make sure the corpse nothing happens to it.
Yeah. Follow
Yeah.
with.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
Berg
right.
will be trailing everyone.
So where is Maharib when, like, Vani, unless you are in your room with the door locked, my thing here would be that we cut to Vani and she runs into you doing something somewhere, right?
Well, I was coming in from outside when I was talking with
With Awut?
her brother,
Yep.
Awut. Yeah. So it's probably towards like the upper tiers. It's me walking in the halls to get back downstairs to them.
Yeah, and I think she's going outside to get some cool air, right, to cool down. So
Yeah.
so you're coming in,
And it's me and Awut. We're probably walking together.
yeah. Okay, so you and Awut are coming in, and you see Vani come up one of the staircases that lead to the second level, and she's coming towards you, and Awut notices it even before you do, and he's like, uh-oh, something's wrong. And Vani comes like storming up towards you, and her and Awut immediately launch into like a conversation. Vani is obviously very angry, and they're talking in Primordial, in Ignan.
I don't speak that.
Yeah, do you speak Primordial?
Nope.
No. Okay. So they immediately just set into this language that sounds like fire, and they're talking. She is like upset, and very quickly in the conversation, she becomes more upset that Awut isn't more upset, and he's trying to calm her down, and she's like, you should be more angry about this. And the two of them are talking. You don't know what they're saying or what she's mad about, but they launch into this conversation right away.
Okay. I think I don't even know if it needs an insight roll, but I probably infer that like something happened downstairs. So I
Yes.
just kind of walk away and start going downstairs.
Okay.
And I probably will grip the wicked edge and try to see if it can grant me any knowledge of what might happen.
Yeah. Okay. Make a religion check, religion wisdom check.
It's always religion? Okay.
I think for the most part, yeah, because you're essentially praying to the axe.
Okay. I get a +1.
Okay.
13.
13. Okay.
Does it give me any flashes?
No, I think when you touch it, you sense that it's aware of the tension and hopes that you will lead that tension to violence, right? That like it's like, you know how you could solve this? Kill everyone.
Right.
So yeah, it's just it's like an angry dog on a short leash, right? It's just kind of like, huh? We're gonna kill somebody? What's going on?
Yeah. Okay.
So you feel that sense of like violent momentum.
If anything, I don't think it's going to come to violence, but it definitely makes me like pick up my pace a little bit.
Yeah.
So I probably start like jogging down the hall, down the stairs to wherever stairs or floor 3 or whatever they're at.
Yeah. So you head down the stairs.
Yeah.
Okay. So this floor has a single kind of like central corridor. So I think you probably come out in time to see the group of them leaving a room and heading.
So the two of them and
Yeah,
Mr.
it would be
Yang?
Mr. Yang and these three.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. So you see a stranger and then your friends.
right, and they're walking away from me.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I think I, with the intent of following them, walk further down the hall, and maybe once I reach the door, I see Bergs inside the room still. Right?
No, I think they're all going.
Oh,
You're
everyone's
going?
going.
Yeah.
Oh,
everybody's
okay.
gonna go.
Then yeah, I just follow along. Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe try to catch up if I can. I don't know what pace you guys are going at, but
Okay.
I don't think we're rushing.
No.
okay. Then
All
yeah, if I'm like
Yeah,
kinda
you're wearing
jogging-
You'll
armor and
easily
you're not
catch up, I
stealthy.
would think,
So,
yeah.
so
you hear me jogging behind.
You hear the
You'd be coming up
sounds of-
alongside Berg.
Yeah, you hear
behind.
the sounds of Maharib, and I think that Mr. Yang stops when they hear this person coming, and they turn and they see you, and you approach.
This is one of our other companions. This is Maharib. Maharib, this is Mr. Yang, an associate of mine from the Court of Coins.
Did you call him here?
I did.
I look at Berg to like see where he's at.
Berg's face is like, fucking bullshit.
Did you turn at all, or are you just focused on getting to unnamed?
I look at you, like just acknowledge that you're there.
Okay.
Berg is visibly upset that the whole thing with Yanni just happened.
Yeah. I think that's the.
So there's some residual like tension on Berg's face from that.
If I
Yeah.
see you guys looking at each other, come, I'll explain.
Okay. You can start with why she's so upset.
In the room.
And so there's all this conversation kind of going back and forth, and Mr. Yang is doing the like watching a ping pong game thing, like watching you all talk. And then when there's a moment, turns to you and bows and says, "We haven't been properly introduced. I'm Mr. Yang from Special Projects Division."
Wait a minute. I just properly introduced them.
Not properly.
Okay.
And you must be Maharib. Goliath, I think. Fascinating. I've never seen one in real life.
I'm proud of you.
And their eyes drift to the axe, and they say, "A beautiful weapon."
What are you doing here?
Helping.
Is this help needed? And he looks towards probably Ramus when he says that.
Unless you have that material list lying around.
I see. So she found out that you told. That's why she's upset.
Yes.
Technically, he did. I
I didn't do it, Dad. It was him.
The blame is mine.
So Mr. Yang puts their hands up and says, "I wouldn't worry about your Genasi friend. The shamaness will recover from this change in situation. These types of people tend to get worked up over nothing. I'm sure it won't last. We'll be fast friends before long."
He's condescending, too. Great.
I actually nod at you like, this is my life. I deal with these people all the fucking time.
Well, and the great thing is that most people, when they meet you for the first time, this is what they expect. They think you're this guy, right? Yeah.
But I'm road traveled and,
Yeah.
well versed in cultures and stuff like that. And this guy's like cloistered up in the fucking ivory tower.
That's right. Desk job at Langley, and
Yep.
you're out here in the shit.
Exactly.
Are you here alone, or are there others that we should let them know about?
I'm here alone.
I would assume you're going to see the body.
Yes, that's what I was led to believe.
Very well. Let's proceed.
Okay. So we wipe to the room. There is a dead body under a sheet, and everybody is standing in this somewhat smaller room, waiting for the unveiling. So,
Ramus, would you like me to, or?
I'll do it.
Very well.
Slowly lift the sheet off and expose just her head.
yeah. So we see unnamed lying in repose, and like I've described before, she simply appears to be absent. Like there's none of that revulsion that a human being experiences when they look at a corpse. There's none of that feeling of like, oh God, like that's a dead thing.
Yeah.
It's simply like an empty shell that happens to look like a tiefling.
And before he can say anything, I look to Mr. Yang. And before you ask, this body has not been magically preserved.
That was going to be my first question.
She is from the void. Yes, indeed.
Like, this is literally like, let me give you an analogy. This is like you being like, this is my friend Max. He's from Narnia.
Yeah. What?
So, yeah. So Mr. Yang looks at you kind of like, are you fucking with me? Like, is this a joke?
I stare, just dead stare.
Interesting.
Even you don't know everything, sir.
That is true. The world would be so dull if I did. I'm excited to find out more. So this must be the receptacle of the ritual that you are intending to perform.
Indeed.
And if this creature is from another realm, as you described, then it's likely that it never had a soul to begin with.
Very astute.
I had wondered. The ritual appears to be for the enchanting of objects, magical weapons, and when they say that, they look back at your axe, like as an example. Magical weapons, other blasphemous artifacts.
For all intents and purposes, it's very similar. A sword, a chair, a door, all. No souls to be had in them. This creature, this person, was also born without being furnished with a soul. And that is the intent of this ritual.
Well, if she was born that way, she's hardly a person, but I understand your meaning.
Watch it, sir.
I looks at you. I've already noticed several arrestable blasphemies just in the time I've been here, but that is not my purpose. I'm here to investigate, to learn, and to assist if I deem it necessary or worthwhile.
I'd like to see you try.
Well, and I stop you before anybody gets any further.
Everybody's getting a little prickly.
Yeah. Well, since you're here, how do you intend to aid us?
I need to know the rest of the ritual. I have to understand how it works. The list that you sent me is a beginning and implies a certain protocol of enchantment, but there's more to it. You have to have something to implant in this vessel. Where were you intending to get a soul from?
Before I say anything, does he? Do I get the feeling from knowing what the ritual entails and stuff like that that he needs to know any of this shit?
Ooh, that's... you can make an Arcana check.
Okay. Make an Arcana check. +6.
This is the check to find out if you would be like, wait a second, I don't need to give you my password on the phone.
14.
Okay, yeah, you don't know. You don't know enough about this kind of high-level arcane horseshit.
You are a stranger in a strange land. The reason why I bring that up is because I've already violated the trust of these people by bringing you here and telling you of the materials we needed. I will not violate it further by telling you their sacred rituals. Will you help us get these materials, or will you not?
I might understand that you prioritize the good feelings and trust of these primitives over your mission, your duty to the court?
Of course not. My loyalty to the court is absolute. But this has to do with you personally and not the Court of Sword or Court of Coins.
Surely you understand there's nothing personal about Special Projects Division. I'm not here for me. I'm here for you and for the court.
And I don't report to you. So, if they want to know the ritual, I will tell my handler.
I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, 10 Pillars of Gold. And they reach into their robe. And
Son of a bitch, they're going to have a document. God damn it.
They produce a scroll.
Then explain this.
They produce a scroll and hand it to you.
I grab it, like, kind of.
Yeah, give me that thing.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I unroll it and I read it. What does it say?
A terrifying goblin runs by.
Like, oh, that's just my familiar. Don't worry about him.
My homunculus.
Yeah, my homunculus. No one give him a sock.
So, it pretty much says that your mission for the time being falls under the jurisdiction of Special Projects Division, such that is they are researching an as previously lost ritual, and until the time that ritual is fully investigated, that you don't directly report to this person, but this mission now falls under Special Projects Division jurisdiction.
Okay. I look to the group, mostly to Ramos. This piece of paper says I have to fall in line, follow Mr. Yang's orders, or report. My loyalty to the Court of Coins tells me I must do this. However, I leave it up to you. You can decide as a group whether you want to share these rituals with this person. And if you don't, I'll bear the brunt of the wrath, whatever punishment they see fit for me.
So finally,
And then I look directly at Mr. Yang and I just don't say anything.
So Mr. Yang says, it seems the situation is perhaps more complicated than you'd anticipated. I'll give you some time to discuss your options, but I remind you, 10 Pillars, a direct contravention of your orders is not simply
I know the
faux
punishment. I know the punishments. You don't have to say it.
And they smile and nod. Good. They're quite unpleasant. I assume there's somewhere that I can obtain lodging. Somewhere around here I can
My
rest?
room is 2 doors on the right.
Very good. I'll come and find you again in the morning. Gentlemen, excuse me. And Mr. Yang leaves the room. And now the 4 of you stand around the uncovered body of Unnamed with the question of what is to be done with this magical stranger hanging in the air. Now, to talk a little bit about your options, right, before I let you in character kind of discuss what you want to do.
Yeah.
So you need money or materials. Money is going to be easier to come by. Once you have the money, you can essentially will elide the buying of the materials, right? So they're the same. Either you get the materials or you get the money, but you need 20,000 gold. This person can authorize that at the cost of gaining access to what is a sacred ritual of the Fire Lord.
Right.
You can also theoretically get that money from the Mara. Grave Dirt has a significant war chest from all the rampaging around in the Court of Swords. So there's that. And then also this fortress is built on top of ancient dwarven ruins, and we know the dwarven ruins are all full of treasure. So there is that as an option as well, to go and try to get some new money. You've been given permission by the Embers to go and check that out, and plus they kind of want you to, so they can continue to clear the levels below. But you don't really know anything about those yet. So
And I think that would be 10 Pillars' first, like, the first thing he would say after Mr. Yang was gone was lay out those things, and then like add like just a footnote. And I want you to know.
Wait. Shh. I snap my fingers and I cast detect magic to make sure we're not being scryed right now.
It's a good call. No, I don't think you are, but very smart to check.
Mm-hmm. It's safe for now.
No, it's not. He's still here.
Well, at least we know this one.
I'm fully willing to face whatever punishment that they mete out for me.
What is your goal, 10 Pillars? Why are you here? You seem conflicted.
I have a mission, or had a mission. And the mission was to attempt to broker peace, or laying down of arms with Grave Dirt. That failed. I asked what my next mission was, and they basically told me to stay put, observe, and they would be contacting me. And now, with that piece of paper, that's the mission I've been given. And I'm telling you that after long years of service to the Court of Coins, with a spotless record, I'm willing to disobey orders if it means that you are going to be inconvenienced or harmed or imprisoned or anything of that nature. I will take the full brunt. And I do this willingly because I believe in destiny. I believe in the wheel. I believe that each of us has a path. And I believe that you are on your path. And I will not stand in the way of that. Because as far as my loyalty to the Court of Coins goes, my loyalty to heaven supersedes all.
I've learned not to rely only on myself anymore, so I'm going to ask the 2 people I trust more than anyone. What do you 2 feel?
Would you like me to leave?
No, you can stay.
I think I just look at Berg when Ramos says that.
I do not like what has happened and what we have done to Vani and the trust. They will not share, or she will not share, the ritual. I don't see it happening. Not with this yang. There is the depths below we could go through.
If you tell me no, Berg, then we won't do it. All you have to do is tell me.
It's not that simple. I really don't think Vani will go along with it. Maybe we should speak to her.
I think you should, Berg.
That
I think
is not fair.
I've seen the way she looks at you. And you. There's something between, has a sparkle in her eye when she looks at both of you.
And I think that may be gone now.
Maybe. She seems a fiery, passionate sort. Just needs another spark.
So what? I tell her, betray your ritual and give it to the core of not your tribe. I don't want to do that. It is theirs. It's sacred. That I know.
You're closer to these people than any of us, Maharib. What do you feel?
Berg is right. It's their ritual. It's sacred to them.
Then giving it to them's off the table.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Now, what do you think this Yang will respond with when he knows he's here for nothing?
Well, as you would expect, I'd imagine. But I will try one last time to convince them of the rightness of what we're doing, and I don't see it going any differently, but it never hurts to try. But if it inevitably doesn't, I will inform him that it is off the table, that you will get nothing else here. And if you stay, your welcome will quickly be worn.
Out of curiosity, what would happen if he were to just never go back?
I was wondering when that plan was going to come up. Like, what if he had a terrible accident and fell in some lava? What would happen then?
It's a very dangerous ritual.
Yes. I'd imagine that someone who is that deep in the secret organization of the Court of Coins would have safeguards in place if something were to happen to them. Some sort of signal that would be sent or message that would be sent if they were accosted.
You can make a roll if you want.
I would love to.
Yeah, just try to figure out how the Special Projects Division works. History probably, because history is politics and all that operations of. Yeah, I think that's the closest thing D&D's got for us.
29.
Nice.
Yeah.
Skill master.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have a little bit of leeway here because Special Projects Division, because they work with stuff that is sometimes sensitive, they need to keep things a secret. So you may be able to, Mr. Yang probably has some operating leeway in terms of reporting in. So you may be able to get at them, and if it does become a let's all just go bust into their room and murder them. If you do it fast enough, they might not be able to escape or send a message home. In which case, Special Projects Division, depending on how important they thought that this specific project was, it would reassign it and have someone go look for Mr. Yang. They'd be like, look, it's Mr. Yang too. But if the project is still just getting off the ground, or if Mr. Yang is particularly self-serving, they might have been like, I'm just going to go and investigate this thing. It's not a big deal yet. Don't worry about it.
Right.
So that they could be like, haha, I have the whole ritual. Now I'm a big deal, right?
Can I do that, like an insight check, see if he gives me the impression of that he's a social climber and wouldn't share this with others?
If you have another conversation with them, they might reveal that.
Yep.
You'd have to lead them into that conversation.
Yes,
But
I'm planning on that.
yes, so it's certainly possible.
Right.
The fact that they are so secretive does give you an advantage in that particular sort of skullduggery in that case.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then I let you know, there is a chance that...
I can make him nothing but a man for 10 minutes.
If we go around killing anyone that opposes us, we're no better than anyone else.
I know. I'm just saying that's an option.
And I'm just saying it's a bad one.
I know an axe that disagrees with you, Maharib.
Yeah.
Right. The entire time I'm holding that thing like, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. We can't just go around killing anybody. Yes, we can. Let's do it.
Yeah. That's the voice of my head.
Yeah. Stick an axe in his face. Who said that?
Let me try words first. But there is a chance that this particular section of the Court of Coins is very secretive, and sometimes they find it necessary or beneficial to keep even secrets from other people in the organization. So it's possible he's here on his own, not having told anyone, or he was assigned, something of that nature. And sometimes, very rarely, we can go for days and weeks without hearing from an operative, and that's fairly normal.
There's a pretty good chance that everybody back at the court thought you were dead until Ramos communicated with the bureaus.
No, he's alive.
Looks like he's still going. Good.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
So allow me to try to convince him. And if we can't do that, while I cannot help you, but I will not stop you. Are we understood? I'll return shortly.
Before you go, I'll take off the bag on me and I start rummaging through it. I pull out a journal. I kind of like flip through the journal and run through the pages and tear out a piece of paper and fold it up. It's a bargaining chip. Say you stole it. There's more. Might help.
And what is this?
It's Bugfucker's journal.
Ooh, nice. So if you glance at it, it's an artifact of the void, right?
good.
And
Ah,
like
dude.
a scholar's artifact, like this. If Special Projects Division, because basically you just said to them, I have been to an alternate dimension, basically, that up to this point was theoretical. And if you're like, here's proof, that could dissuade them or could aim them in another direction, or like that could be a bigger fish to catch.
Yeah.
Oh, well, and I would definitely have to ask you, because I don't know what the fuck this is. I would definitely have to ask you, like, where is this from? Who, like, what the hell, like that kind of stuff. Would you go into detail as far as what it is?
I think, like, how do you ask that?
And I look at it, and I have no idea what it is. Like,
Because it's written in Infernal, right?
right. What is this?
It's probably better you don't know.
If it's a bargaining chip, I have to know what I'm bargaining with, unless you would like to come with me.
He'll know what it is. If he is as smart as he acts.
Oh, he is. He's playing dumb.
He'll know.
I'm fairly smart and very well traveled, and I don't know what this is. I mean, there's a chance that he would, but I would like a more assured way of knowing.
There was a man that we met when we were in the void. He was deranged, but he was once very smart. These are some of his musings. They might not make sense at first, but if you were to study this journal, I'm sure you would understand a lot. Information that's not graced this world, perhaps ever.
So this is from the void, then.
It is.
And you see him physically, like, lean back. And you would be willing to part with this.
It does me no good until this point. I've merely kept it as a memory.
This is good. This would be a very valuable chip. And you would let the whole thing go if we were supplied with the materials and we did not have to show the ritual at all.
It's better than a ritual getting out. It's better than us killing someone. And he looks at Ramos when he says that. It's just information. What they do with it doesn't concern me.
May I have the journal to hold?
No. Again, say you stole it.
This is what I'm saying. He'll see one page, and he'll want to see that the page belongs to a book. I'm not planning on giving it to him, and that's why I invite you to come along with me to hold the book. I just want him to put his eyes on it.
I'm sure he has his ways to do just that.
He's going to demand to see it.
I'm sure he has his ways.
Let him demand it. Pique
Come with me.
his interest.
There's no reason for me to be there. If I lose my temper, it would not go well.
Or mine.
Well, very well. I'll see what I can do.
And
And I take the piece of paper
You're
and
a
I
good
put him.
bargainer. See if you can get a little bit of land in there too.
See
In
if
the
you
war zones, they don't value too much. It would be nothing to them.
Get
now.
him to
I look at you and I chuckle a little bit.
We both just look, we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he just comes out like,
Get him to just throw in, like, I don't know, like a
Yeah.
place I could build a temple.
I was like, we're not bringing this bill to Congress. You can't put like a rider on it. It's like, oh, that Bikes for Orphans bill? Just throw my land thing in there.
You can start and then remove it afterwards.
Yeah, somebody give up and then negotiation.
Yeah. But if he agrees to it, we all win.
Yeah. All right. I guess what I want to know is if you're willing to give up the book in trade for this. Why not let me have it to show it to him? You have my word that I won't give it to him without...
He just waved
The
a
agreement.
document and you became a dog that sat. Why would I give you a book that holds all of our bargaining chips?
Say,
I see the time around the lava and smoke and stuff has clouded your eyes, because what I saw was a man who was willing to betray his entire life to save you three.
You have not
If-
betrayed yet. The
If that's a
words.
dog, I hate to see how you treat your pets.
You're not getting the book, no matter what you say. You have the bargaining chip.
Why so obstinate now when we're so close? This would get us what we want. What is so important that you must hold on to it? Come with me, like I said. You can keep it in your own hands, or give it to one of them and they'll come with me. But he's going to want to see it. I've
As-
spent too much time at the bargaining table to not know how these proceedings work.
As 10 Pillars is speaking, you feel very, very slowly like the dawning realization that when you're like, I feel kind of sick, like maybe I'm getting a cold. That feeling of like you feel this dawning sense of like detachment from the moment. Like you can hear what he's saying,
yeah.
but it doesn't make you feel anything. And you're slowly, like, as you watch him, you feel your sense of his like humanity and the value therein just like draining away, right? And you just feel like I could just end this argument right now.
Right. Yeah. I think then maybe that what you see as you're like saying that and like building up, you start to see Maharib's hand just kind of like go towards his weapon. and he's not like making any notice. He's not
Just
doing
like
it on-
absently.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the arm is operating independent.
Yeah, and it just like grips the weapon right when you end, and Maharib like dips and takes his hand off his weapon.
And I look at you,
Very-
and I
very
look
much
at you,
notices
and
that
I
too.
look at the weapon.
And I
I
give
look
you like
right back at
you were
you.
judging me. Look.
Everybody's looking at each other like,
And I say,
here. This turned into Reservoir Dogs so fast.
I look at you and I
Bert
see that
grabs
happen,
his weapon with a quizzical look on his face.
and I say, I don't think I'm the dog here.
You're living. If I weren't in control, you'd be dead.
In other words, Maharib, you're the man now. Dog.
Yeah.
I guess you're the dog now, man.
And
I
I-
understand what you're saying.
I turn around and I leave.
Yeah, there's a lot of tense glaring.
I think
leaving
I'm
the room.
like I understand.
Zeke, as a player, do you
Yeah.
have expertise in persuasion?
Yeah.
Okay, then I was going to cast a spell on you, but you already have it. Never mind.
Yeah, no, that's one of those
I was gonna- so-
sidekick things, the expert things that I can just take 10 on no matter what.
So for just from a DM perspective, there was a moment where I was going to ask you,
If he
is
wanted
there
to make a
anything is there
persuasion,
anything
yeah.
he could say? But then you immediately said, "There's nothing you can say that will sway me." So I just stepped back from that.
Yeah.
So it'll take more than.
And
more
I
than
figured
words,
you'd step in
minutes.
if it required
Yeah.
a roll.
Yeah.
I think Maharib's finally starting to realize like he has to make decisions himself and not
Yep.
ones for Ramos. So
Well,
that's
right,
what
and
that
because of that
was.
conversation with Woot too,
Yeah.
where he was like, "Do you
Yeah.
trust Ramos?" Like, yeah. Okay. All right. So you leave, and are you gonna go talk to Mr. Yang?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So 10 Pillars leaves. What do the three of you do? Do you stay in the room? Do you talk a little more?
Berg's
Leave.
looking square at
You know what?
Maharib and the
I
axe.
actually I stop before I get there, like right outside the like halfway to where my
Yeah.
quarters accessories is. I stop. I turn around. I come back to the room, and I walk up to Maharib, and I give him the page back, or I hold it out to him.
You're giving it back
Do you take it?
and speak to him.
You're going to speak to him.
Well, I guess we know where his allegiances lie. I grab the paper. Anything else?
Good luck.
And then you leave and go somewhere else altogether because you can't go back
I
to your
sit
room.
on the bed.
You just sit down like,
Yep.
go ahead and you do it. Okay. All right.
Well, if he doesn't, I mean,
You just
he
doubling
doesn't
down.
trust me to make the to just hold the book or whatever. Like, obviously,
Well, and this
it's
is
better
so-
in his the negotiations are better in his charge because obviously he doesn't trust me. So
Yeah.
I'm taking myself out of the equation.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And plus, for you, like you're used to being given a ton of operational autonomy, right? Where like you don't work in teams. There's like a reason for
Yeah.
that. You're a lone wolf.
Well, and
so
Well, and one of the, you can look on my character sheets, one of the ideals you gave me was, no one may treat me with disrespect, such as my station.
that's right. Yeah, you deserve better. My name is my name.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, I guess everybody's still in the room. The body's still
Yeah,
there.
I think if he goes and sits down, Maharib watches him, and I think he has the idea of what he needs to do.
Oh, and also, just as like a little flavor, you get in my inventory, you gave me a smutty romance novel.
I did.
Yeah.
That's true.
You
He
just
pulls
pop
it
that
out.
up and read
Yeah,
it?
pulls it out and starts reading it. I've been waiting for an opportunity to use that.
Nice.
That's right.
So it's the Kermit sip, basically, just like
He just cracks this book. It's got a very erotic woodcut on the front of like a couple of lizard people. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I think I watch him.
That was
He
intense.
opens up the thing. Well, I guess Berg, join me outside for a moment. Ramus, I guess I'm going to have this conversation.
Okay.
Ramos is like, what? Okay, yeah, good. All right, so the two of you walk out in the hall.
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
walk out of the hall and maybe just turn the corner enough. And I like reach for the weapon and hold it out to you. And can you hold this for me while I go have this parlay?
I don't know what would happen if I touch that.
I don't either.
There's some like ominous strings in the background,
Yeah.
right? Like,
I like go back to my belt and I start taking off because I was given like a
yeah, we talked at great length about where Maharib keeps the
Yeah.
axe, but
It
yeah,
just
there'd be
floats
some
around.
kind of that video that I sent you where the guy builds the holster with the hook on it. I think it would
Yeah.
be on your back, so you'd be taking off a bandolier kind of thing
Yeah.
to give. Like,
so I'm starting to take
this
that off.
and-
Yeah, and
Like
I
holding the axe.
hand you kind of the whatever the equivalent of an axe scabbard is. I don't know what that looks like, but
Berg wants to do an insight check, just like what feeling he's getting from the axe, like what
Yeah,
he
sure.
what may happen, just an
Okay.
instinct.
Yeah, make that insight check for sure. So you look at it and you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen if I touch that thing.
Yeah, it's a -2. Oops. Get this out of here.
I'll give him. Can I give him advantage of some sort? Because like, I don't want it to hurt him.
Yeah,
But
communicating to the
I'm
axe.
also trying to like.
I think this is something that Berg has to do alone.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, I think this is because it's not about you; it's about Berg and the axe.
sure. It's their relationship and not mine.
Yeah.
That's 3.
Okay.
So I got
with a
nothing from it.
3. I mean, I think your initial suspicions are pretty much what you have to go on, right?
Yeah.
That this thing is it's a gift of darkness, right? It's like it's conjured up from the blackest pits, the inverse fountain. You know, there's a reason that you feel uneasy looking at it.
I think Berg then having that feeling, like
Hold on.
grabs like some cloth from his pack.
Yeah.
And, like gets ready to like grab it.
Okay. So you want to try to
He really like
relinquish-
wraps it around, or it tells you to like.
Wrap it around this. I do not want to touch it.
Yeah. I
So you take it and you
Do
fold
as
the
he says,
cloth
yeah.
over it. Okay. So you go to give it to Berg, and in the moment where you go to relinquish the axe, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy.
oh boy. What is my?
You dare
I have a
leave
+4.
me?
It's not the worst roll. I guess we'll see how this goes. I think this is this the first time where I haven't held the axe on my person?
This is the first time it's been apart from you. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. All right. What is that?
18.
That's 16 or 8?
I
Is
think
that
it's
18?
an 18.
That's
22.
Is it?
22?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There is a moment of hesitation there, but it's not as though it's. You don't have like a full-on like Bilbo moment. You're like, that's mine. Like you
Yeah.
just feel this sense of like, okay, you should take it. But I think it's easy enough for you to just feel like that's what it feels like giving up a weapon at all. Like,
Yeah.
like taking this thing you use to protect yourself and your friends and giving it up. You're disarming on purpose. So it's just that feeling of like you don't
Okay.
have your axe.
Weapons are a part of your religion.
Yeah.
So, so Berg, you're gonna take it from him.
Yeah.
Okay, now I need you to make a wisdom save.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
So wise I am. Oh God! Hopefully,
It's like a
stop
terrible.
having things possess me. Okay.
It's not gonna possess you. That's not about that. I just want to see something.
Okay.
What's your wisdom?
Actually, it's a 3 + 3. So.
we both have the same resilience,
Hey.
so. Oh my
Okay.
God, that's a 3.
6.
So it doesn't like invade your mind. It doesn't take you over or anything like that. But when you take it, swaddled in cloth, when you take the bundle from Maharib,
The cloth. That's nothing.
Baby boy.
you feel you have a vision.
Okay.
So you watch Berg kind of like opens his eyes, and one eye turns this like greenish black, like the whole eye, just, and the other turns like a milky white, and he's seeing through the veil of time and space for a moment, and you see a vision of yourself with the hammer of heaven in one hand and the axe in the other. You're wearing a different suit of armor, and on it there's a symbol that I don't think you've seen before, because I don't know that it exists anywhere outside of Ramos's mind. but it's a circle divided into two sort of tadpole shapes, one white, one this blackish green, and then with two dots representing like the same colors. It's a yin yang, basically. You see it, and it's emblazoned on your chest, and you see the shot sort of pulls out, and you see an army like marching under that banner, and you're standing holding these two weapons as this army kind of like marches out into the world. And you have that flash for a moment. You stagger back.
Yeah,
you
like-
see his eyes go back to normal.
Berg, are you okay?
I think so, yes. I saw something. I was holding both of these weapons.
Looks at like his hammer.
There's an army, a symbol on all of them and on my armor. What symbol, I don't know. But we were marching.
It's not the future, Berg. It's a glimpse. At least that's what I've come to understand. Make sure you understand that.
I've had enough visions to know it's not always that way.
Good. When I first walked in here, it showed everyone dead.
Thank you for not doing that.
You have control. Are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine.
Fair enough.
It's good to see you control both the light and the dark, Berg.
Do you like walk out from the room?
That's from the shadows.
Yeah, right? Like, the two of them around here, and Ramus is just like, good, good.
Embrace the dark side. Do it. Strike him down.
I mean, this certainly wouldn't be the first time. It's just that Ramus has so many Darth Vaders to choose from.
Yeah.
You got backup apprentices and everything. It's great.
Once more.
I love how he just transitioned into that movie.
Yeah.
That's work on that, by the way. We're gonna need you to affect some sort of emperor
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah.
Um,
Face like a melted
yeah.
candle.
So like you just Berg after he says like I'm fine, nods at you like
Oh, I'll be okay.
I'm off to bargain. This should go well. I like burrow my head, and I think we'll start walking towards the.
you
the
walk
room.
away and Berg like looks at the axe, like just stares at it for a moment and just like
Be good.
Yeah, and it's even better because the axe is wrapped up like a baby. So you're just like, no,
yeah.
bad axe. Okay, all right. So you're gonna go and talk to this stranger.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So you don't have to go very far. You head down the hall a little way, and the door to what was, or I guess still is, 10 Pillars room is like slightly open. The door's
Okay.
open a little bit, so you could just walk in or you could knock or whatever. So what do? You walk up and
Yeah, I think I just give it like a quick wrap. I'm not just gonna walk in
Yeah.
not knowing what's not announced, I guess. So I give it like a knock and wait for a comment to enter, etc.
okay. Yeah, you hear a voice from inside. Come in.
Okay. Yeah, I push forward and walk into the room.
Yeah, and they're sitting at the little desk that's in the room, and there's a deck of cards sitting on the table, and the surface has been cleared, but it doesn't look like they've dealt any of the cards yet. And so they're sitting there, and they turn and look a little bit surprised when they see you. They're like, "Oh, you're not who I expected to see. What can I do for you?"
Your dog demanded I make this bargain myself. He's well trained.
We value structure in my tribe. It's important to know who's in charge of who. Keeps things orderly.
I understand that. I think I reach into my bag. You'll see and as I'm doing that, I look down. You'll see I left my weapon back in the room. I come here to bargain, not to fight.
That must have been very difficult for you. Give up such a beautiful weapon. To go about unarmed. Though, looking at you, I think you could probably kill me with just about anything in this room.
Again, I'm not here to fight. It doesn't matter if I could or not. And then I bring out the folded sheet of paper that I handed 10 Pillars and present it. This is a bargaining chip.
And they reach out and they take it from you. And then look at you like, may I?
Please.
And I think they've had gloves on up until this point, but they take the paper and they set it down and they pull their gloves off. And they set them on the table and they pull all their rings off their fingers and like set those down. And they close their eyes and they just like touch the paper for a second, like put their hand on it. And they look at you and they say, before even opening it, where did you get this?
Do you understand what it says?
I haven't even begun to look at the words. Do you know what this is?
Of course. That's why I'm using it as a bargaining chip.
I mean, what it's made of. This isn't paper.
Do I understand that it's not paper over there?
Well, I mean, I don't think you ever even thought to ask. You're just like, it's a book. It's full of sheets. Like,
Sure.
it's probably paper.
Yeah. It seems important enough for you to remove your items.
I prefer a personal touch. Things like this. I have a sort of sense for objects. This paper, you've torn it from a book, or is this all there is?
There's like a long pause. Let's start with that.
It's skin, you know. I can't tell if it's human or not, but it certainly seems to be.
That makes sense.
Very finely made. I don't think I've ever seen skin treatment this thin. Brilliant. Where did you get it?
I think once you unwrap it, you'll start to understand.
And they unfold the paper, and you see again that kind of a look of surprise. And they say something really rude without intending to. Can you read? Do your
Yes.
people have letters?
Yes.
But you can't read this, can you?
I can read it. Can you?
Yes.
It's in Infernal, right?
Yeah,
I
and-
can't
and
read it then, yeah.
Yes. To my mental detriment, I can. I learned to decipher these blasphemous runes. I've never seen so many of them in one place at one time. It's not like the Mara to expound. I've never read a necromantic essay before.
I think, what would I say? In Infernal, perfectly spoken, because I'm fluent, I think I say its power is unmatched.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I'm really hyping this shit up.
Yeah, when you say that, there is a look, that same kind of like curious look. And as you finish the sentence, you hear a faint like crack, like somebody's stepping on a on a branch or something. And they reach into their collar and they pull out what looks like on a chain, a little vial, a little glass vial with another little glass vial inside it, and it's got a crack in it. And they hold it up and they look at it, and they look at you, and they're like, "Well, you're full of surprises." Do you know, in the Court of Coins, just uttering that language is a crime. It's a good thing we're not in the Court of Coins. This is fascinating. I understand the characters, the words, but it's gibberish, or I'm missing a cipher. Is this in code?
It might be. It comes from I guess you could say, friend.
You have strange friends, Giant.
Yes. I can't argue that.
So, this encoded document, these scribblings of madness, they're an offering? You come to bargain for something?
I have. We need that money. We need that soul to inhabit that body that you saw. I have a journal filled with that. I don't know how many pages, but I'm willing to give it to you if you agree to not witness this sacred act to this tribe. I'm sure you understand the importance of keeping it within that tribe.
I don't personally value things just because they're old, not like these cultists do. The time of the Fire Lord has long passed. But if you want to keep their precious secrets, and you have something of equal value to offer me, I might be able to sign these documents and get you the material you need, but you're going to have to tell me more.
I grab the nearest chair and sit down.
Yeah, so this document, tell me where it came from. What else am I to expect from the rest?
To be honest, I'm not quite sure. I stopped myself from reading it, at least in full.
A wise choice. Without the right mental discipline, these kinds of things can be of ill effect to the mind.
Something like that, yes.
The Mara and their artifacts are deeply insidious.
I would assume the fact that I speak Infernal as fluently as I do is intriguing to you, is it not? It's part of the story, part of the bargain.
I just assumed that it was the language of your people. These things happen.
Well, I suppose it's the language of my people now, or whatever it is that I am.
You don't look Mara-born. The grandfather, perhaps? Great-grandfather?
Part of the bargain.
Ah, so you acquired your demonic essence somewhat after the fact. So, what was this bargain for?
Is he like holding the paper tight?
No, it's sitting on the table.
Okay. I think I'd take it back and fold it up. I'll tell you once you sign that paper. Give us what we need.
I have to justify the purchase. If I tell my superiors that I need this money and I have no ritual to show for it, they're going to ask me what I'm purchasing with their money, with the money of the people of the court. We have to be beholden to our taxpayers.
I understand. It's, I guess, faith that you will have to have in me that what lies in that journal and what I have to tell you is worth it.
So when you say faith, they chuckle and kind of like roll their eyes a little, but they don't say anything unless you point out like something funny. So yeah, you have to take it on faith, and they're like,
I think I'm just like, I know how silly that sounds, trust me. But put yourself in my position. I don't have much here except this.
I just wonder, how can you or any of these people understand destiny, faith? You have none. The primordials simply lead you around like animals. Without embracing heaven's teachings, how can you know what it feels to have faith? How can you ask of me a thing that I'm sure you have none of yourself?
Do you understand what it feels to live without destiny? To make your own choices, not beholden to anyone? You should try it.
A foolish idea. No one has free will. Heaven defines everything, but we're not here to debate theology. It's either your destiny to give me this piece of paper or not. It's either my destiny to sign or not. It's finding the thread and knowing how to follow it that matters. I'm going to need more information. You have to show me the book.
I can agree to that. I reach back in the bag and pull out the book. And I think I throw it down, like on the table in front of him. Please do not touch that.
You can tell that it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
that they're just like, oh, but I want to so bad. And so they look at it, and they look back to you and they say, you've been traveling with Ramos and Berg for some time.
This is true. I was brought on as a mercenary. I am something different now.
And In that time, I'm sure you've noticed some of Ramos's more unusual ideas.
Sure.
They might not seem strange to you, given your upbringing. I would warn you against the kind of corruption that the Mara are known for. That by possessing an artifact like that, by visiting the void, if that's truly what you and your friends have done, you've exposed yourself to powerful, powerful magic that can twist the heart and the mind. You may think that you are doing what's right, and your friends may think that as well, but this is how the Mara work. Black deals. They change you from within. I would be careful if I were you. I'm trained to protect myself from this kind of influence, but you and your friends have no such training. It would be better for you to give me the book than to keep it in your possession. Safer for you and for your friends. But I understand you've come here not to give me a gift, but to make a bargain. I think we need the roll now. I need you to make a persuasion roll.
Can I have advantage on any sense?
I was gonna give everybody inspiration for the whole like big scene with things. So everybody take inspiration. If you want to spend it now, you can.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I already had it.
Oh, it's like you want me to fail. Why would you say damn it?
That's the worst when you already have it.
My persuasion is at a negative
Double.
2.
Okay. Here. You need my
Be
extra die
nice.
for-
All right. We'll see how this goes.
Okay. So you got you said -2.
Negative
I'm
2.
doing with advantage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. An 11.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
11. All right. So your new friend looks at the book and says, "I can't judge the value of something like this just by glancing at it. And the page that you showed me is chaotic scribblings. I can't decide if the rest of the book is meaningless or simply difficult to decipher unless I have a chance to look through it. Now, if you leave it with me for a day, I'll examine it. I promise you I will make no record, and wouldn't, even if I didn't promise you. It's dangerous information. But I have to judge the value of the thing. I cannot, even if I wanted to, the Court of Coins wouldn't give me 20,000 pieces of gold for a book I haven't read. So leave it with me a day. I'll have you an answer then."
I stand up from the chair and walk over the door, shut it, and then if there's a lock, I lock it. So I'm not going anywhere. Read what you want.
Very well. and they sit down, and I think that they have a pouch, a little, like, maybe you thought it was like a medicine pouch or like a tobacco pouch or whatever. So they open it and they reach in and they get their whole hand in and then most of their arm, and then they pull out a teapot. And then they pull out a saucer and a teacup, and they snap their fingers, and the teapot starts to glow. And they look over at you and they say, "I only brought the one cup. Sorry."
It's fine.
And then they turn back and roll up and pin their sleeves and put on a pair of reading glasses and settle in to try to decipher the insane scribblings of the various levels of obstinate bugfucker's mind.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
So you're in this room for a full
For a full day.
24 hours.
Because it's Ramos and I and Berg are still in the.
Yeah.
Berg left the room to talk to
Okay.
Maharib.
Yeah.
Berg, did you just go back to your room after?
I probably went back in the room.
Oh, okay.
with
So you
them
turn back around after
beforehand.
Maharib
Yeah.
leaves.
Okay.
Okay. So the three of you are still together.
And I'm-
while this conversation is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back in the other room.
I'm reading the book, and I'm smoking my pipe, and I just. Oh, sorry, my. Okay,
No.
I heard. Oh, okay, yeah, my pipe. My pipe.
Yeah, it's good production.
I lean back. I without looking up from my book, I say, "Been in there a long time, huh, Ramos? It's almost as if The negotiations are going well. Wonder why that would be.
He underestimates his talents.
I didn't.
Me either. He's
And
destined
just back
for,
down to reading again.
He's destined for great things.
I think as you say that, Berg comes in the door, like with he might have just been studying the axe outside a little bit,
Yeah.
and then decides to come in, and you see him holding it awkwardly, larger than this obviously, but just
Hello.
Hi, Berg.
Did you say you're holding it
yeah,
Kinda
he's holding it awkwardly. He doesn't want to fully grasp it or anything like that.
Oh, so our other big friend doesn't trust himself, does he?
I imagine just to resist any Ramos.
I understand.
Temptation. We've
That
been
one.
over this, Berg. It's 3 syllables.
Shut up.
That's tough.
I can't help but chuckle.
Just like over the which almost makes it worse, like because you're like
Yeah,
not
you
even-
see my
you're
body
the
just going
peanut
like-
gallery.
Yeah.
The long runs are hard sometimes. Anyways,
Weirdly, The Long Ones Are Hard Sometimes is the name of the novel. So
So Berg sets the axe down on the table.
It's actually called In and Out Again, A Hobbit's Holiday. Like that one. Speaking of the peanut gallery.
Yeah, laugh out of production.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he sets the axe down. He's like,
smart of him, I think. Something about that. Well, you all saw. Has some sort of hold on him. He fights it. In control for now.
I have a feeling that I may have barely escaped our little conversation with my life.
I don't think he's strong enough to control it.
Time will tell. But
Not yet.
I've
but-
been watching him. It's getting worse.
I thought he was going to strike you.
It was close. I felt the heat coming off of him. Reminded me of my father.
can everybody who is in the room right now make an insight check?
I would love to.
oh boy.
I hope Berg is just grabbing the axe. And I'm gonna murder all you.
No, I set it down. He set it down for a good reason.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
Dan's going to go first.
Okay.
Or we can go first. It's all good.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
go first,
here we
yeah.
go. Insight check coming. So insight is a take 10 kind of a thing. So 23.
Okay.
Yeah, for my expert.
Mhm.
All right, mine is -2 insight. Here we go. Yeah. God damn it.
Is that a 7?
5. Yeah,
It's
5
5.
total.
Yeah, it's
5.
5.
Okay.
What's your plus on insight?
10.
10?
plus 10.
Okay. Yeah, this should go well then. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
He's very wise.
All right.
I heard that somewhere. Hey, no.
25.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good.
So, Berg, you're maybe not aware of the deeper emotional subtext of the conversation, except that you feel uneasy. That's real. The axe is making you feel weird. You've been keeping an eye on Maharib. All that stuff is true. The two of you, this feels like a backroom conspiracy conversation. You can feel the paranoia in the air is palpable and unusual. I don't think either of you, you notice something is going weird here, that you're all talking. And it feels to you like if you don't nip it in the bud right now, the conversation could very quickly become we have to kill Maharib before he's too strong. And it could just you can feel it getting away from you. You can feel paranoia percolating at the back of your brain. And I think the two of you both recognize this isn't normal. This is weird. Something is going on. And I think that when you have that realization, right, the shot is, right, we pan back and forth as everyone's talking. The cuts come faster and faster as the conversation goes on. The soundtrack becomes more tense. And then you have this moment where you breathe and you look, and the camera pans down to the bundle with the axe wrapped in it lying on the floor, and there's that same like violins in the soundtrack, right? Just letting you know like the axe is like feeding off of this paranoia. And I think we'll probably take our first break there.
Cool.
That's good. So
Cool.
we end on the shot of the axe, and then we fade to break. So we're taking a short break here, and we'll be right back for another 2 hours of the show before our big break. Cool. All right, stick around. We'll be right back with more Court of Swords.